Hello again everyone, welcome back to ptet.chemistry channel. So in this lecture tutorial, we'll specifically cover the 5129 combined science syllabus. This is equivalent to the combined science or any sort of integrated science syllabus for the 14 to 16 years old curriculum all around the world. So combined science is basically the three natural sciences combined into one subject. It tends to cover slightly lesser content than the pure natural sciences, which are individual subjects on their own. That's not to say that there aren't a lot of contents in combined science, so there are quite a bit of chemistry, one of which is these ion and ionic bonds, and in the previous lecture tutorial, I've covered these ideas on positive ions, also known as cations, and negative ions, also known as anions. There was just 14.3.1 in the last lecture tutorial. In this continuation of the previous lecture tutorial, we will describe the giant lattice structure. So it's defined as a giant lattice structure of ionic compound. So ionic structure is for compound, and we did atoms, elements, compounds, and mixtures. Compounds consist of two or more elements that are chemically combined together in a fixed ratio. So there was a couple of months ago when we did atoms, elements, compounds, and mixture. So how do you describe the giant ionic lattice? The giant lattice structure of ionic compound has another name. It is called giant ionic structure. How in the world do we define giant ionic structure? We define it as a regular arrangement. Regular has another word for it. It's called ordered. As you know, just like solid particles are ordered in a regular manner. Regular means ordered arrangement of alternating positive and negative ions, meaning to say positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, negative, negative, positive, negative, positive, negative, positive. So it's alternating, meaning to say it's not all plus, 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 it's plus, minus, and plus, minus, etc., etc., etc. So that is what is meant by alternating. Positive ions, negative ions are formed as a result of transfer of electrons, and I suggest you have a look at the previous lecture tutorial that involved this thing called we talk about sodium atom losing one electron because sodium atom has one valence electron. Being in the third period, it filled up to the third shell. It has two electrons in the first shell, add electron in the second shell, so those are fully filled. The one electron in the third shell means that there is only one valence electron, so it came from group 1. Group 1 metal or group 1 atom loses one electrons and form a plus 1 charge. When you lose electron, you have more protons than the electrons, and therefore you have a plus 1 charge because you have lost one electron. And now you have a fully filled outer shell. Just now you have 2 plus 8 plus 1, 11 electrons. Now you have 2 plus 8, which is 10 electrons total. You have lost one electron, it's a plus 1 charge. On the other hand, if you have a plus 2 charge, it means you have lost 2 outer shell electrons to get to a fully filled outer shell. We could also gain electrons such as this. The Z, the atom of Z with the crosses have gained the 3 dots because you have gained 3 electrons. You have a 3 minus charge, and we have a fully filled outer shell. Previously, Z only has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these crosses. So previously Z was from group 5 with 5 valence electrons. To get to a fully filled outer shell, it gains 1, 2, and 3 other electrons, and therefore it has 3 minus charge. This is called anion, A-N-I-O-N. Negative ions are called anion as a result of the atom gaining electrons. So we talked about all that in a previous lecture tutorial. In this lecture tutorial, we'll focus on this thing called ionic bond. Ionic bond is a bond. A bond is an electrostatic force of attraction. So this is the definition. As with anything in sciences, it all comes down to definition. If you can't do definition, there's a lot of things you can't do because it means what do you understand, the most basic thing about ionic bond. It's a strong electrostatic force of attraction. Electrostatic means it's charged particle, but this charged particle is two oppositely charged ions, meaning to say you have cations. Cations are positively charged ions, and they are formed as a result of loss of electrons. And then you have anions, which are negatively charged ions, which are formed as a result of gaining electrons. So these two oppositely charged ions will form as a result of transferring one or more electrons from one atom to another. The metal atom loses electrons and form cations. That electrons, or those electrons that the metal atom loses, go to the anion. The anion gain electrons. That's why we drew them as these kind of dot, the extra electrons that gain from somewhere, gain from the metal atom that loses electrons, and therefore we become negatively charged ion called anion. Ionic bond, just to refresh, recap, is to do with electrostatic force of attraction between the positively charged and the negatively charged ions, basically between oppositely charged cations and anions, which will form as a result of transferring electrons from the metal to another. So it's actually from the metal atom to the non-metal atom. That's how you get ionic bond. It's between the metal cation and the non-metal anion. Now, that was bonding. We come back to this structure. This is called giant ionic lattice structure, or you can call it giant ionic structure. Giant ionic structure, this is again another definition that you have got to know as stated in the syllabus. Candidates should be able to. If you are not able to, unfortunately when Cambridge asks you, then you have nothing to complain about, because Cambridge already told you 3 years in advance that you are expected, you should be able to define giant ionic structure, regular arrangement, alternating positive and negative ions. If you want, you can use alternating cations and anions. They mean the same thing. Cations refer to positively charged ions, anions refer to negatively charged ion. Previously, we have done this kind of diagram where the sodium atom loses 1 electrons and you get a +1. So I'm sorry, the diagram is not very clear. And then the chloride with the dot, 7 outer shell electrons, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Because chlorine is from group 7, when you did the electronic configuration of the first 20 elements in the previous topic on atomic structure, you can always review and recap that lecture tutorial, especially if you have forgotten how to do that, especially if you're weak in that particular area. I do suggest you to recap your concept. You gain 1 electron because 7 plus 1 electron will give you 8 electrons in the outer shell. Take note of what they have done. You gain electron, you do not show it with the same dot because you want to represent the electron is different. I mean, it's all electron, but the electron comes from the sodium atom that has lost 1 electrons, and the chlorine atom has gained 1 electron. Both the sodium and the chlorine now have fully filled, meaning it's completely occupied, fully filled valence shell. And fully filled valence shell is good because, just like we talk about in atomic structure, fully filled valence shell means that you are not going to gain or lose electrons anymore. You are nicely balanced out. You have completely filled valence shell, just like noble gases are unreactive. This fully filled valence shell will make these ions less reactive or unreactive compared to the atom. Now, what do we have here? Dot and cross. These kind of diagrams are called dot and cross. These are the dots, these are the cross. We have to show the cross there to represent the 1 different electrons that the chlorine atom has obtained, has received, has gained. Okay? And the charges are important, just like you see in the last lecture tutorial of this bonding series. We did one thing leading to another stuff. Okay? Now you also need to be aware, are you being asked, are the question asking you to show valence or outermost shell electrons? If they don't ask you to do that, then if you don't specify in the question, then you have to show all the shells, which is what this example has shown you. It has shown you all the electrons in the shell. Okay? But if a question specify show only outer shell or valence shell electrons only, then you just need to draw the outer shell electrons, which of course after you lose this 1 electron, your outer shell becomes your second shell. Your outer shell here was the 3rd shell, 281. This is the 1st shell, this is the 2nd shell, and this is the 3rd shell. Now you only have 2 shells because this is now your valence shell after you lost only 1 electron in the 3rd shell. Now, referring to the previous example, we need to draw the atomic structure for the following compound. So magnesium oxide. We think about magnesium and oxygen. So the name itself, this is the metal, and then that is the non-metal. So when you have a metal and a non-metal atom combining, what you're going to get is you're going to get ionic bond. If you go back to your definition of ionic bond, it's the electrostatic force of attraction between oppositely charged ions. So it's between cations and anions. The magnesium metal will lose electron, so the Mg will lose electrons, and you get Mg2 plus. Because it's a group 2 metal, it loses the 2 valence electrons to form Mg2 plus. Okay. Onto the oxygen. The oxygen is a group 6 non-metal. Group 6 non-metal will gain 2 electrons and it will become O2 minus, which is a fully filled outer shell, because 6 plus 2, because this means gain electron. 2 minus mean gain electron. 2 plus mean lose 2 electron. So what we can say is the atom lose 2 electrons. This one gain 2 electrons. So what we're going to get is, this is the cation, this is the anion. Anion is negatively charged, cation is positively charged. I got to show the formation of it. So let's try and do that. And I'll try and move this to the other side. Okay, so what do we have? Let me move it there. So let's try and draw this. So you have magnesium. So this is magnesium atom. So 2 and then 8. So you should know this from your previous topic. So magnesium atom is in the third shell. So that is 2. So it's 2, 8, 2. This is magnesium atom. I want magnesium 2 plus ion. So if I want a 2 plus ion, no, not that. If I want a 2 plus ion, let's see what I can do. So if I want the 2 plus ions, I want to remove these 2. So I want to remove this outer shell. And now I will have a 2 plus, because I no longer have the 2 there. I just have Mg2 plus with 12 protons, because I don't do anything in the nucleus, but I have lost the 2 outer shell electrons. Now I have a fully filled outer shell, which is now the second shell, and I have a 2 plus charge. Onto the oxide, for example. So let me draw this properly. So onto the oxygen, originally you would have 2 shells. So 2 electrons in the first shell, and then I should probably use a dot. Because it's dot and cross diagram. So dot, dot, and then originally I have 2 and 6. But then it's a group 6 element, so it's got 6 electrons in the outer shell. In the valence shell, it's first period, second period, first shell, second shell. But it's not happy. This one has lost 2 electrons. This one can take in another 2, because 6 plus 2 is equal to 8. So I will show it using a cross. Because these electrons come from the other thing. It receives 2 electrons. When you receive 2 electrons, you're going to have a 2 minus. The 6 plus 2 will give you 8. That is what is meant by fully filled outer shell when you form ions. Fully filled outer shell when you form ions was something we talked about just now. This is a 2 plus because you have lost 2 electrons. This is a 2 minus because you have gained 2 electrons. The plus 2 cancel out the minus 2. Compound has no charge. Compound has no charge. Compound has 0 charge. 0 net, 0 overall, or 0 net charge. As a result of that, your objective when you form compound is how many of these do you need and how many of these do you need. The plus 2 and the minus 2 cancel each other out, because I hope you can see plus 2 plus minus 2. Plus and minus multiply together become minus. Plus 2 minus 2 give you 0 charge. So overall, you just need one of the Mg2 plus and you just need one of the O2 minus. It's called MgO. Okay, so this is magnesium oxide. Magnesium ion, oxide ion. Oxide is O2 minus ion. This is oxide ion. This is magnesium ion. The name is magnesium oxide because it contains Mg2 plus ion and O2 minus anion. Okay. I think we'll just leave it here for this lecture tutorial video, and I'll continue at the next example B in the next lecture tutorial video. Don't forget to click the button on the bottom right to subscribe to the channel, and please share the channel widely with all your friends, your chat and study group, your juniors and seniors from school, your teachers, your relative, whomever is doing the O Level combined science syllabus, I guess. I only do chemistry part of the combined science 5129 syllabus, so I'm sure you can do the bio or the physics bit in other tutorial videos on your own or from your own teacher's help. Okay, this is the 5129 combined science lecture tutorial series, so the contents within are probably a bit diluted compared to the pure science curriculum, so make sure you actually browse around the various topical playlists and find whatever is relevant to whatever you need for your exams and your curriculum. Okay, follow me at ptet.chemistry on Instagram, Facebook, as well as Twitter if you use these media platforms, and thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next lecture tutorial series.